This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Kings beat the Thunder last night for the second time this season, 117-113, snapped a brief two-game losing skid for Sacramento. Buddy Hield led the way for the Kings with 25 points. He was 5 of 10 from beyond the arc. Marvin Bagley had a double-double off the bench, 15 points, 3 rebounds. He tossed in 3 blocks as well. The Kings are off tonight. They travel to Utah to take on the Jazz tomorrow. Monday Night Football was a wild one last night. The Rams beat the Chiefs 54-51 in the first game in NFL history that had both teams scoring 50-plus points. It was the third highest scoring game in NFL history and the highest scoring Monday night game of all time. And the Mariners shipped starting pitcher James Paxton to the Yankees in exchange for 3 prospects, including the Yankees' top prospect, left-handed pitcher Justice Sheffield. It's 8:01. Time to visit MaidaChevy.com and see who's made a great deal at Maida.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what? Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning, morning, morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Now they go to Grant, rolls into the lane, rejected by Bagley. And then he tips the ball over to Bogey. Bogdanovich hustles up the left side of the floor, stutter step at the three-point line, balances, looks for Giles, finds Harry, drops it off inside, full flush, Marvin Bagley. That's terrific execution by the Kings, and Billy Donovan will take a timeout. Fox, who's had a tough night in terms of scoring, throws a bullet cross court. Here's Hield again. Rattling, settles for 3. So many times when they rattle, they jump out, but this one rattled and settled. Kings now have a 9-point advantage, 107-98. Paul George breaks down the defense, shovels in the paint. Adams there the whole time, but it's broken up by the Kings. Shumpert with a steal. Hield for a transition 3. No good. Shump battles. Gets the rebound. But he had a notion to shoot it again. Goes cross court to Fox. Whirls, spins, wrap around inside. What a pass for the setup and a layup. Scored by Marvin Bagley. Thunder let the ball roll. Westbrook picks it up. Deflected by Buddy Hield. Grabbed by Westbrook. Feeds to Schroeder. 3 on the way at the buzzer. No good. And the Sacramento Kings get their second straight win over Oklahoma City. The final is 117-113.
I want to shout out my friend Grant Napier for making sure that our buddy Dan, from who we met up at the Chico Wildfires, got some tickets, some good tickets last night. They showed him on the camera on the TV. It was Dan and his 2-year-old little girl. He was holding her up to the doing the Lion King thing with her. And, just awesome. The efforts from the Kings, many surrounding the Kings, all of you, the station, and countless other people, both in and out of my radar in this community, that have helped. Have done what they can to help the wildfires is absolutely fantastic. I can tell you, just as a quick update, and we'll talk more about this after the holiday, but between Thanksgiving and December, we're gonna talk about our second Do One Thing caravan. The first one was fantastic, and in this case, we have very specific requests, and we will fill very specific needs. We will be posting up for you a list of items that we would love for you to donate and bring by not only here at KHTK, but any of our promotional hits that we do. The wonderful people we have in promotions that work so hard will be gathering everything. We'll give you more details, but I can tell you there's over 5,000 kids up in the Paradise Chico area that have not been in school. And Brian May and I talked about it yesterday at about 8:35. They got to go to school, and at some point you have to get back to some semblance of normal life, and they're not there yet. But when that time comes, listen, there's no schools. They've burnt down. So there's going to be modular units taking up their makeshift classrooms, but just to try to get these kids in on their education, they're going to roll in there and try to put them back to school sometime. It looks like middle of December, maybe the second week. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a backpack drive, and we will be collecting backpacks filled with a very specific list of items, but items that you would send your own kid to school with. We're talking notebooks, pens, paper, rulers. I don't know. We're going to get that list directly from the people that are going to use it. We will collect those backpacks, and then hopefully we have a big 18-wheeler filled with backpacks that we will be driving up to, with your help, up to the areas and dropping off directly to those who will be teaching and who will be running those schools. So another opportunity, and I'm sure there will be plenty more, but another opportunity to do a very specific thing to fill a very specific need and something that is needed quite a bit. Sam Amick will join us at 8:35. Want to get back to the Kings last night, but we also have another pair of tickets to give away, and I want to finish this up right now. Caller, thank you for holding. Who is this that I'm speaking to? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, who's this?
This is Fernando.
Fernando! Where are you calling from, buddy?
Citrus Heights.
Citrus Heights. Okay, you've been listening long enough. I assume you're familiar with the game. We're playing Get to Know Your Sacramento Kings. Today's subject is Marvin Bagley. We will ask you 3 questions. It's a best of 3. We'll give you a multiple choice. If you get 2 right before you get 2 wrong, you win a pair of tickets. Sound fair enough?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the next question we asked Marvin Bagley, Fernando, was the worst purchase he has made. Your choices are clothing, a type of clothing, car, or 25 bottles of whipped cream.
Oh, gosh.
Clothing, car, or 25 bottles of whipped cream.
Clothing. I'm going to go with clothing.
You're going to go clothing. Are we locking you in at clothing?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Marvin Bagley's worst purchase. Is there something you've bought ever that if you could go back in time you would not buy again? That was kind of silly.
I mean, it's nothing major. I don't like spending a lot of money on things, but I would say I bought an ugly shirt one time. And then I put it on. I was like, I probably shouldn't have bought that, but that's one thing is a shirt.
Okay, so there you go. That is absolutely correct. You are 1 for 1, Fernando. An ugly shirt, the worst thing Marvin Bagley so far has ever bought, but he's got a long way to go. All you got to do is get one of the next 2, Fernando, and you're done. And we're in this next question. You've just luckily hopped into, because we asked all the Kings the same questions. You've lucked your way into 2 of my favorite questions. The next question from Marvin Bagley: is a hot dog a sandwich? I'll give you 3 choices: yes, no, or sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of. You're going with sort of. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Kyle, I want to bring you in on this. It's my own personal phone a friend. This doesn't count. He's locked in on sort of. Wait, why am I bringing you in? You were there when I asked the questions. Never mind. I was just going to ask you, do you remember what Marvin said? Honest to God, do you remember what he said when I asked if a hot dog was a sandwich, Kyle?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Will Marvin Bagley say, yes, a hot dog is a sandwich, no, a hot dog is not a sandwich, or sort of?
Are you asking me?
I've already asked the caller. He's locked in on sort of.
If I get it right, do I win Kings tickets?
No, sorry, you win nothing. You win another.
Okay. I'm gonna say he says no.
No.
And I'm gonna say it's because the sandwich is flat.
Okay.
The hot dog is not.
So we have
someone said that.
We have.
I think it was Bagley.
A no. We have a sort of. No one picked yes. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Oh! Phone a friend wouldn't have worked. 3 choices. Marvin Bagley, on record, thinks a hot dog is a sandwich. All right, Fernando, that's fine. You've got one more shot here, and it's a similar type of question. Is chili a soup? Did Marvin say, yes, it is, no, it is not, or I hate chili?
Going with yes.
Going with yes. Final answer, Fernando.
Yeah.
All right. Is chili a soup? 4 Jazz and Kings tickets.
Yes, I would say yes.
Okay, that's final answer. Okay. Is chili a soup? I told you.
Is chili a soup?
Is chili a soup? In your opinion?
In my opinion,
if you were the arbiter of food rules.
Yes.
Oh, Marvin
I got it.
Yes, Fernando at the last minute, at the buzzer, wins the Kings Jazz tickets. Marvin Bagley thinks a hot dog is a sandwich. Marvin Bagley thinks chili is a soup. Fernando, congratulations.
He's wrong on both counts, but that's fine.
Hey, I bet you Luka Doncic doesn't think that, right, Kyle? Am I right? Kyle, tell Fernando what he's won.
Well, Fernando, you've won 2 tickets to see the Kings take on the Jazz at Golden One Center on November 25th. Get more info at khtk.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. I was going to do a bit.
What
and I got
bit?
thrown off.
What bit were you going to do?
People walking in here while I'm trying to do bit.
Oh, gee. Come on, Matt. Matt George. We got Matt George is an A's fan dancing with Kyle, the 49er fan. They're all decked out. Congratulations, Fernando. Now I kind of want to know what Kyle's bit was going to be.
I was just going to do a whole thing about, like, you get to enjoy luxurious seating, and I was going to do the whole Price is Right deal. Alas, I did not.
All right, still to come. We didn't even get to this. Next time we give stuff away, we still have more Marvin Bagley questions. I thought we'd actually, 2 of our 3 contestants got it right. We still have favorite video game, actress, actor, favorite Disney ride, and who won the rap battle, Eminem or MGK? What about line? No, line 1. It's line 2, buddy. Line 2 is our winner. All right. If you want to get in on Kings questions, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. For what? What are you looking at me for? I know we don't have more tickets to give away. I said if you want to get in on Kings questions. Oh, I didn't mean those questions. I meant like if you want to talk about the Kings. I was transitioning. We have no more tickets to give away.
Oh, well, I feel like if you go from a segment where you're doing Kings questions, you have to call the next transition something other than Kings questions.
I'm glad you shouted it out because we have 18 more minutes in the segment. I wanted to finish with Kings stuff. If you have any questions you would like to ask about the Sacramento Kings, you may at 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140 from the Jiffy Lube text line. The 209 says, that's my idea of a soup and sandwich, hot dog and chili. In my opinion, a hot dog is not a sandwich and chili is a stew. But you can't tell these millennials anything. And the Luka Doncic takes are coming in strong. Since Matt George did come in, though, we at some point tomorrow, Kyle, need to figure out what game our Twitter takeover. I got sick last week. That didn't work out. We're going to have a Twitter takeover for Matt George since he lost his LeBron James bet, where we will take over Matt's Twitter and just be absolutely brutal. From the 916, going back to the last segment, I probably shouldn't even read this. Dave, are you confident? Dave, are you confident that Dave Joerger isn't himself the leak as a way to capitalize on early season success and cut the legs out of any enemies he may have? Yeah, I'm confident. Yes, I'm very confident. I don't think Dave Joerger is going to, on his own, leak that his job could be in jeopardy. I'm very, very comfortable in going on record and saying that Dave Joerger was not the source of the leak. I understand, especially being a Kings fan, conspiracy theories, because Lord knows many of them, some of them more unbelievable than that, are probably true. But sometimes we do try to outthink ourselves a little bit. Sometimes we do try to go a beautiful mind a little bit too much. From the 209, can the Kings please? Oh, wow, we're just doing an AMA on the Kings now. Can the Kings please get cup holders in all the seats? No, they can't.
Ooh, Kings AMA.
Yeah, I guess so. They can't get cup holders in all the seats because of the way the seats are spaced, the way everything was built. That way you have more leg room. That's the decision they made. It was leg room and pitch or width or whatever it's called versus cup holders. I know cup holders are a deal. Just so you know, they don't have cup holders in the most expensive seats either. They don't have them on the floor. There are no cup holders.
My vehicle that I will not say the brand of. My vehicle.
Good man.
Got you. I want you to be able to press it.
I appreciate that.
My vehicle I have a five seats, 2 cup holders. They're both in the front.
Oh, as opposed to in the back?
I have no cup holders anywhere other than the 2 in my front.
Well, what do you passenge a lot of people?
No, but when I do,
they don't have cup holders.
Yeah, if I have even a third person in the car, there's no cup holder for them.
Hey, guess what? Yeah, you're not allowed to drink in my car. Problem solved. No beverages in my vehicle.
Yeah, hey, we're driving to Southern California. We stopped to grab a bite to eat at Fire Wings on the way out.
Hey.
And we got our sodas to go on the wonderful pick a bunch of sodas machine. Mm-hmm. And I got to be like, hey, drink that soda as we walk out the door and throw it away before we get to the car.
Yes. Or oh my God, hold it between your legs in the seat.
No, because then it's a long drive. What if they fall asleep? And then they relax and that drink falls out. See, there's problems here.
Are you a garbage bag holder in your car where you can throw trash in
Yeah,
there?
I keep a paper grocery store bag.
Yeah.
And then I throw stuff in there.
Finish your drink and throw it away if you're going to go to sleep. I mean, come on.
But what if you're not done yet?
Let me tell. Let me
look, there are logistical issues with only having 2 cup holders in a 5-person car.
Let me tell you
That's
something.
it. My next car will have more cup holders, is my point.
I have in my Hoblet Ram.
Must be nice.
I have 4 cup holders.
Must be nice.
In the back.
Cool, man.
I have one on. No, let me.
That's because it's like a luxury car on the inside.
It really is. Let me just finish though. I have a cup holder in the door, the other door, and then the pull down has 2 cup holders. A little pull down,
man.
Whatever.
That's cool.
If they had an option of not having cup holders in the back, I would take that because I have kids. And the cup holders invite, you know what they invite? Cups with drinks that spill that I have to clean.
Get sippy cups.
Well, there's your answer, Kyle. Why don't you get sippy cups for your friends? And then they cannot have a cup holder in the back, but if they fall asleep, oh, look, what's that?
That's
it's
actually
a
great idea.
Thank you.
Back here, pour your drink in this sippy cup.
You don't have a pull down in your back seat that has cup holders in it?
Don't ask me about my pull down.
Wow.
No, I don't.
Let's see. Going back to the text line for some dumb reason. Clearly why Bagley isn't starting. He thinks a hot dog is a sandwich and chili is a soup. Marvin Bagley's getting ethered right now for that.
Joerger's doing his starting lineup. He's like, all right, let's see if Bagley's going to. Hey, Marvin, you want this sandwich? And he holds up a hot dog, and Marvin's like, yeah, I would, thanks. And he's like, nope, he's out. Coming off the bench again.
Oh, Bagley says, yeah, thanks. He goes, great, have fun eating that on the bench.
Hey, take your time eating that because you're not checking in until about 6 minutes left in the first quarter.
Still remember one of my favorite interview experiences in an NBA locker room, aside from Cliff Robinson, was with Amari Stoudemire. He's, player will sit down at his locker and kind of give you a look like, okay, I'm ready to talk. And he sits down and he gives us all the looks. So I sidle up to ask the first question. And I asked him the first question. He goes, hold on, let me crush this hot dog real quick. Takes 2 bites and is done. When he said crush the hot dog, he crushed it. Amari Stoudemire had a different career that he missed in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Finishes it down with a Diet Coke and said, all right, let's go. And then it was question time for Amari. Never seen that before.
That's incredible.
Hey, Dave, this is John in Lodi. I'm taking my kids to their first Kings game this week. Good for you.
Nice, dude.
Nice job. What is a good restaurant close to the area? Thanks. I get asked this question a lot. Here's the deal. I don't want to offend any restaurants around there. I know that there is a Yard House. There is a Sauce. There's a Punch Bowl Social. There's a McCooney. There are El Rayon K, Molten Mash. There are a lot. Here's what I would do. Get to your car, park it, and then walk to the arena and then just look around and whatever tickles your fancy. Get there a couple hours early. Walk through Doco. Look at all the different new restaurants they have and roll in whatever you want.
There's for real so much stuff down there.
Like, I don't know what John and his kids like.
Yeah.
Maybe they hate barbecue. Okay,
right.
Well, don't go to Sauce. Don't put that pressure on me, John.
Right. Like, I don't know you.
I don't know you or your kids. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to, but I'm saying at this point in our relationship, I'm not comfortable with directing where your kids should eat because I don't know what they like. What if your kid's allergic to something? Oh, go eat there. Oh, allergy attack. Thanks, Dave.
Now let us know where you wind up eating, and then we can base future suggestions.
What?
Base future suggestions.
Gotcha. Someone's drinking.
Future suggestions.
Okay. Jason, your thoughts?
Trucky ducky quack quack.
Okay. 339-11-4. Are these people on the phone for me, or are they left over from the contest, Kyle?
I believe they're left over from the contest.
Let me see. Line 1. Hey, caller, are you calling to win Kings tickets?
I was, but I'd also like to talk to you guys.
Oh, well, we're here to talk to you. Who's this?
This is Nate. How you guys doing?
Nate, we're doing good. Sounds like you're driving around. I hope you're being safe and hands-free.
Yes, I'm hands-free. You guys are in my ear, so all good.
Very good. What would you like to talk about, my man?
Hey, I was wondering if it's too late or too soon to do a Dear Santa with a wish list for the Kings. What do you think?
It's never too soon. What would be your wish?
See, Dear Santa, my name is Nate. I live in Sacramento, California. I absolutely love the Kings. But this year, there's 3 things I wish for. I wish that Brandon Williams gets fired. He may be a good man.
All right, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I mean, I kind of did that, but I don't want to start.
Right. It's not a thing.
Right.
It's not going to be a thing.
Hey, can I also say this too? I almost feel like not that I want to clean that up, but let me just say generally, I'm very passionate about this job and very passionate about my team, but this isn't personal. I don't have a personal issue with anyone I'm talking about. It's a business thing. So this is a team thing. I don't want anybody being wished to get fired for Christmas, Nate. That's a pretty crappy Christmas wish. Dear Santa, fire this guy. Dear Santa, there's this bully at school. What is Santa now? Is Santa an employment hitman? Santa rolls around with a sack with toys. And for good girls and boys, not Santa is not the Turk in the NFL that rolls in and calls you into his office. Hey, listen, just want to let you know it's not going to work out. You got to go. Santa does not fire people. Santa does not fire elves.
It's what you're wishing for, not what you're wishing against.
Well, no.
Is that
no? Because he's wishing for someone to get fired.
No. You want to. What can the Kings add on the court?
Yeah, but in his case, he wants them to. On the court, he wants them to add a different executive. Please stop shouting out Santa to fire people. When we do our Kings wish list, you acceptable answers. Kelly Oubre. There you go.
Pick any one of the Wizards, honestly.
That's fine. As long as they're on a decent
Harry
contract.
Potter.
Fine.
Gandalf.
Yeah. Dumbledore. There's a group that after this new Fantastic Beasts with Jude Law playing Dumbledore's, they've formed a group called Dumblemore, or they call him Hot Dumbledore.
What was wrong with old Dumbledore?
We only have 1 minute, so I'm just. Oh, we have 0. You can say that on the air.
We had 1 minute 1 minute ago.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm looking at my little sheet here. It says 8:24. It's 8:24. That means we got a break right now, right?
But you said 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
We have less than 30 seconds.
Well, I'm on Eastern time, dude.
That makes sense.
We'll take a break. Sam Amick's going to join us next, and we'll talk about his little article yesterday, and it's on my fridge right now. Well done, Sam.
Gold star.
Gold star, buddy. We'll talk about that next. Sports 1140.
He's going to love our praise.
KHTK.
This is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Kings got back in the win column last night, snapping a minor 2-game losing skid. They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 117-113 behind 25 points from Buddy Hield and 15 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks off the bench from Marvin Bagley. The Kings don't play tonight as they travel to Utah. They take on the Jazz in Salt Lake City tomorrow. It was Rams 54, Chiefs 51 in the highest scoring Monday Night Football game of all time, the third highest scoring NFL game of all time, and the first time both teams in an NFL game scored 50-plus points. A wild finish to Week 11 in the NFL that saw 11 of the 13 games finish with a point differential or a margin of victory of fewer than 5 points. And the trade market in Major League Baseball is picking up. The Mariners sent starting pitcher James Paxton to the Yankees in exchange for the Yankees' top prospect Justice Sheffield and 2 other prospects. It's 8:30. Time to visit MaidaChevy.com and see who's made a great deal at Maida.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
Thanks to all of you for joining us on the drive, final half hour. Sam Amick's going to join us in about 1 minute. Kyle is calling him as we speak. We'll get to what's on tap after that. Tomorrow's show is going to be goofier than normal, so if you're looking for hard-hitting sports takes, yeah, you're not getting that. It's the day before Thanksgiving special. We're just going to, we'll talk sports. Don't get me wrong. It'll be sports stuff to talk about. We'll still have the basic outlines of the show, but we're going to get into all kinds of stuff. We're going to talk, we'll talk turkey is what we're going to do. I want to hear, I always look every year, and this goes back to my old night show. I always look every year for a new and exciting Thanksgiving recipe, an appetizer, something that I've gotten many over the years from you listeners. We'll have fun with that. We'll have all kinds of lists and things we're thankful for, blah, blah, blah. I'm thankful. I am thankful for the man in corduroy. He is a local, as he laid out yesterday in his wonderful article for The Athletic. Get your subscription today if you don't already have one, but also one of the most respected writers in all the land when it comes to the National Basketball Association, the one, the only, Sam Amick. Hello, Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Did I lose Sam? Sam?
Hold on, Dave. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you there?
I am there. What a great opening that was. Sorry, buddy.
Well, you know, when you get
Apple's fault.
when you get writers on the radio, sometimes bad things happen, you know. It's all
Fair,
right.
fair.
That's all
Not
right.
really fair at all, but
No,
whatever.
Unfair. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
No complaints. Fun Kings game last night. They look good, man.
You know, wasn't it? With you know, the Kings gave Coach Joerger a big ovation before the game, and it had been a stressful few days in Sacramento. I can't think of a better message to send to him and the fans than what they did last night against an Oklahoma City team that won 10 of 11. And Sam, you alluded to that, and I really did enjoy that in your piece. That you said, "Hey, listen, I'm a national writer." I'm paraphrasing. I'm a national writer, but I live here, and my phone blows up more for Kings stuff than any other team in the NBA because of my friends, my neighbors, and my family. And your bottom line was that Kings fans deserve better than what they got over the weekend with the way the season's gone so far.
Yeah, 100%. And in that regard, it's like, you know, last night was fun for the fans. And, you know, for me, the thing that honestly just shocked me the most as I was putting that story together is something that we already kind of knew, but I had to sit down and really kind of quantify to have it hit home, which is that idea that, you know, a good start of any kind for this franchise should not be taken for granted. And so, you know, I knew that this was rare, but I was like, all right, let's quantify it. Let's go back to 2006, and then let's see how many times they'd been above 515 games in, which is when that Yahoo story came out about Coach Joerger. And you look at it that way, and then, you know, the way I kind of said it was it's 2 months out of 145 that were fun for Kings fans with the, you know, nights like last night where you still feel like, hey, they're in the hunt, they're relevant, people are talking about them, and you're not just kind of waiting for June to come and the latest draft to come your way. So, I mean, hopefully they can keep it up for the fans' sake, and it's another good one.
There were a lot of things to unpack from your article, and we don't have time to get to all of them, but the one that a lot of fans seem to be hopping on is the kind of the palace intrigue that you've shown a light on when it comes to Brandon Williams and his thoughts on Dave Joerger and relationship in the front office. I'm going to ask opinions now, Sam. And, of course, as always, feel free to say you don't know or you don't want to answer it. But in your mind, is this a case of an agenda gone awry?
I don't think I'm a big believer in nuance, so it's not that simple to me. Mm-hmm. I think that there are voices in the room with differing opinions about playing time, about players, who should be out there, who shouldn't, for how long, things of that nature. And I think things were clearly discussed and reported. And, and then kind of the fallout came from there. I'm not trying to dodge the question at all, Dave, but I think that, this is occasionally what happens when you have moving parts and people trying to help a team get better together. But, clearly I think the synergy needs to be a focus going forward. I think that, again, the backdrop for me that shouldn't be forgotten is the bigger picture of how, all in all, this is just a fantastic start for this franchise. And the nuance in between, whether or not, Marvin Bagley, as of the other day, was 10th in the NBA in minutes played among rookies. So you could look at that and say, it's probably, you can have a discussion there, maybe a little more. He's playing well. That's a discussion. It's just one that should be happening in-house. And from there, there's other stuff. Yogi Ferrell not playing a lot. And I didn't even write about that, but that's another one where, my understanding is that, Brandon was very, very high on Yogi as a pickup, and he's obviously not really playing much now. And so this happens. You have front office people who, are bullish on certain guys, and they want to see, their moves pay off for the betterment of all. But yeah, I think they clearly need to get on the same page.
Sam, isn't some of that, though, incumbent on the front office itself? They're the ones supplying the ingredients to the coaching staff. And what I don't understand, or what bothers me a little bit, is that they front-loaded this front line. And you look at a pickup like Bielitsa, so you look at who they have on the front line, and remember, as you know, Kufis has been hurt most of the year. Zach Randolph hasn't played at all. Isn't some of that playing time, if they want Marvin Bagley to play more minutes, well, there's a very simple way to do it. Don't load the roster with 29 bigs.
Yeah, 100%. The Bielitsa one, again, that's one where that was a Vlade-driven move, and he's playing really well. And that's where you kind of look at it, and it's like, man, okay, in your private moments, you might be frustrated that Bagley's not getting more time and that Bielitsa's out there more than you think he should be, but you probably need to wait until he's really not playing well to make that any sort of loud issue. You know what I mean? Early on, especially, he played exceptionally well and had a ton to do with the success. And the rookie thing is just, this does, there's some parallels here to the Lakers and the Magic Johnson situation. He cracks on Luke Walton early on in their season. And that was private in terms of the meeting, and then that meeting went public. And I felt the same way about that I do about this when it comes to patience. It's like, come on, are you kidding me? For one, that Lakers team had dealt with suspensions and injuries, and this happens. The front offices get kind of twitchy, and they work hard in the off season to put a roster together. And it's kind of like, you built the car and you want to see it take off and you want to see it win the race. And when it's not, driving like you want it to, you start getting mad. But it's like, my goodness, especially in this Kings situation, you had a winning record, and that should camouflage almost everything else. And more specifically, and I did hit on this in the story, De'Aaron Fox and Willie Cauley-Stein doing what they're doing, that is monumental. These are two guys that we did not know if they were going to take a step. This was 2 months ago. We didn't know if they were going to take a step. And when it comes to development, and that's obviously the coach's territory, that's just a huge deal.
Sam Amick of The Athletic joining us. We're talking about his article in The Athletic. You can go to theathletic.com, and I just put The Athletic 4 times in one single radio reset, and that's good plugging.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome. Sam,
checks in the mail.
I'm going to run something I said to you by you, and I want you to agree or disagree. It's Hot Take Sports Radio. At 7:35, I was talking about your article, and I said, if the Kings know who the leaker was, and let's be honest, Brandon Williams' name has been the guy in the spotlight. If they, regardless of if it's Brandon or Fred Smith, if there is somebody within the front office that was openly opining to a reporter or has been gunning for Dave Joerger to be gone, you can put out all the statements you want. But in my opinion, if you support the coach, you got to fire the guy. And if you don't fire the guy, then that's got to mean that you're hedging your bets as to what you're going to do with the coach and hedging your bets on the value you place between the coach and whoever the leaker is. Do you think that's too harsh, or do you think Coach Joerger and that person can coexist?
I mean, this is tricky for me. I mean, I'll start by saying across the league, you've got people, who this is always entertaining in some sick kind of way when I've covered it. Like, you have people who just know they really don't like each other, and they end up sharing space, and it happens for every single team. So that in and of itself is not, typically reason enough to make a change one way or the other. The media stuff, you know me well enough, like I'm probably going to sidestep that one because The reality is the nature of what I do is, I don't want people sitting there snooping around and sharing publicly, who I'm talking to, who I'm not talking to. So that gets sensitive. And honestly, this story was really tricky in that regard. But I think with this team and that, you just hone in on Dave and Brandon, and, and I did 100% report that Dave's understanding has been for quite some time that Brandon was on the lookout for a different coach, is I think the Kings are trying to split the difference because they are still behind Dave, but they're not necessarily still behind Dave, obviously, beyond next season because his contract doesn't go past there. They're not even sure they're behind Dave for next season, if we're being honest, and that's not really surprising. You know what I mean? Like, it's the NBA. Like, 2.5 years, roughly, is the coaching lifespan. So on the flip side, I do think there are probably people in the room who, think that Brandon is, a talented executive who they still think could be part of the future. So I think that's why you're kind of seeing them just try to move forward. But the thing that they might not ever admit, if it was even true, is that ironic idea that the media coverage might have provided Dave more cover than he otherwise had, because now the optics are such that combination of the team winning and the perception that there's some sort of internal disagreement is the kind of thing where they just need to lay low and let the team play for a while.
Sam Amick of The Athletic with us. Sam, last question. I know for you, and I'm talking to a guy who was the beat writer for the Kings for many years, and now writes from a national perspective. But again, in your article, you spoke about you being based here for over a decade. I want to ask you about the Kings, the coverage of the Kings in this market, media-wise, and I'm throwing us all in there. Is this a tricky market? Is this a different market than many of your other NBA markets when it comes to how the local media covers and handles this team, how the team handles the local media? Or are we just in a balloon? I've never covered a team outside of this market. Are we in a balloon and it's very similar, say, your New York, Chicago's, LA's?
No, I mean, it's not similar to those three.
Right.
It's definitely, a lot more kind of goes unnoticed, I think. And honestly, there's been a shift recently in Sacramento media. You got Jason Jones going from the B over to our place at The Athletic. Jason Anderson, who's got my old job, Jason Jones' old job. It's a longtime friend. I think he's going to do a great job. He's done good work so far, but he's getting comfortable in that role. And Noel Harris as well at the B. Those guys are new, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you've got the radio side, the TV side. So there's kind of a passing of the baton that has, I think, had a ripple effect on some coverage. But the thing industry-wide that has changed and is going to impact the Kings now is just that the level of depth of the coverage across the whole league is on a level where even they are not going to be, left outside of that. I mean, even yesterday, Matina Kolikatranis, the team COO, is somebody, who's been there 22 years, somebody who is a topic of discussion among people on the inside all the time. And we don't typically write about Matina. And, yesterday was 100% me deciding that, for better or worse, highs and lows, all of the above, she's a major part of the story. She's Vivek Ranadive's right-hand man, so to speak, right-hand woman. And, that part, I think, is going to become more the norm. And I think sometimes there's a positive that comes with that when it comes to the organization because, they got to look in the mirror, figure out, what might have led to criticism and try to kind of change things a little bit going forward.
He's a good guy, and honestly, I think there's nobody that covers the NBA better than Sam Amick. We're fortunate enough to have him on each and every week, normally Thursday, but with us being off, and obviously that's Thanksgiving, nice enough to come on today. Sam, that was a great article, and the response, I will just tell you what I heard based on your article, not just from fans, but also, and I'm not trying to embarrass you here, but people both in and outside the organization that know what they're talking about. You always do your homework. You always hit on all the right things. And hopefully, from a Kings point of view, we can do less Kings and more Kings from here on out. And this is just
very fair.
A blip on what will hopefully be a very surprisingly good season.
I'm with you, brother. And just to set the record straight, since Drunk Neighbor John has become like an unofficial member of our segment, yes, that was him getting quoted in the article. I just didn't have it in me to call him Drunk Neighbor John in print.
Right.
But, yes. Although it was pretty classic. Somebody on Twitter did it. I don't know if you saw it, Dave. Somebody on Twitter took a screenshot of that graph and said, Sam, I fixed your article for you, and they inserted the word drunk.
I didn't see that, did they? Well, you managed to quote my Twitter poll. You managed to quote Drunk Neighbor John. But I like how, unlike what you did to me, where you had to throw not only my last name, but the cushy poker player build line in that Ron Artest article years ago, you were much nicer to your neighbor than you were to me.
Well, that's because at the B, I always had to use a last name, man. I let you. You got off the hook on this one.
I did.
I told you, Carmichael Dave.
I appreciate it.
By the way, this whole thing is your fault. Because that poll, that poll was like. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like that poll, I looked at it and it was 90% support for Joerger, and I listen. Like you started. I know we got to go, but you started at the jump saying, I do. I have a soft spot for Kings fans, and you're looking at that going, well, god dang, the fans are ticked, and they're behind the coach, and this is a real thing. So it's all on you, Dave.
Yeah, it's all my fault. Well, that's par for the course. Sam, please apologize to your lovely wife for me taking some of your time. I don't want her disliking me more than she already does. And kiss your kids for
us. That'll
be tough. Happy Thanksgiving to the Amick family, and we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Likewise. All right, buddy. Thanks.
Right, you take care. That's Sam Amick. Sam Amick doing a wonderful job for The Athletic. We will take a break. When we come back, what's on tap? And we got a couple of stories to clean up as well, including J.R. Smith getting loose with his comments in Cleveland. He doesn't believe the Cavs are in it to win it. Shocking. We'll talk about that when we get back on The Drive. Sports 1140 KHTK. What's on tap? Brought to you by Kyle Senken. Who's our sponsor, Kyle?
Cupholders.
You're putting me in a tough spot here because you're making me plug Cupholders.
Yeah, and you were already very anti-Cupholder.
Then everybody's going to whine about how there's no Cupholders. How about this? Cupholders. First world problems, get over it. You don't have a cup holder. Cupholders is called your thighs. When you're sitting down, you put the cup between your thighs.
Please, hey, look, there's like several topics that we don't ever talk about on this show. Like we don't talk about the Warriors winning and that kind of stuff. Please never, ever talk about my thighs.
Wow. How about this? Cupholders. Odds are, born with two of them. A left and a right. Cupholders. Weird night in the NBA. There's only 4 games, and the latest tip-off is 4:30. The latest. They all start between 4 and 4:30. Magic, Wizards, Heat, and Knicks hosting the Raptors, Clippers, Nets, and Trailblazers. Kyle, you were not at the game last night, correct?
I don't think there's that. I guess Raptors, Clippers is fun.
Yeah, it's Raptors versus Magic, then Clippers, Wizards, Nets, Heat, Trailblazers, Knicks.
Oh, there are 0 games I care at all about there.
There's like nothing going on. Number 1 Duke facing number 8 Auburn in the Maui Classic invitational
cool
thing.
Yeah, good bet they beat him by 25.
Markelle Fultz is going to go see a shoulder specialist. He is not participating in anything. He's going to go, well, I guess he's going to participate in an exam. But yeah, he is out pending a shoulder exam.
Fascinating.
It's so sad. I don't like seeing that, but we're getting into a territory where are we getting into Odin / Hashim Thabit type of territory with this kid?
Yes.
And usually when you hear of all-time busts, guys like Sam Bowie, Robert Swift, as we mentioned, Thabit and Odin, you're talking about big men oftentimes with injury issues. The number 1 pick in a draft that featured Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, Kyle Kuzma, and many others. And we don't even know. There's still probably an all-star out of that draft that we haven't even mentioned right there that's still developing. The number 1 pick in the draft. Imagine
they got traded up for.
Yeah. Imagine if you're Philadelphia and you look at all they've done and how they have turned a lot of it around. What if Philadelphia's got Jason Tatum or De'Aaron Fox or Donovan Mitchell?
Let's say, and this isn't a Kings-related question. This is an all-NBA-related question. Let's say Markelle Fultz goes to his shoulder specialist. They're like, you're fine. Like, what?
Yeah.
And he's trying to make an excuse for his shot. And they're like, no, you're fine. You're totally healthy. Go play basketball. He comes back, cleared to play. Is there any trade market for him?
I think there's a trade market in the sense that teams would trade for him, but I don't think it's a realistic market because at this point, Markelle Fultz is kind of like if you invested in Bitcoin last year when Bitcoin itself was around 19 grand, and now it's down around $6 grand. Well, if you haven't sold already, you probably what's the point of selling now? You're going to get
right. That's just, and I guess that's what I mean is
you got to hold
right, and just hope that something happens or his contract runs out.
Yeah, I think if you're Philadelphia,
So I guess that's where my question is: is there any team that's going to offer something that's worth it for Philly to?
You say worth it. I mean, I think a team would certainly offer. I think there are I will say this: there are teams out there that would offer more than Markelle Fultz's market value for him. But they would not offer anything close to a number 1 pick from last year's supposed market value, if that makes sense.
Sure. Right. It makes sense.
If you took away where he was drafted and just looked at him as a player, yeah, you're going to get some pretty outstanding offers for him based on his statistics. But you can't do that with a number 1 pick. You just can't even take the PR hit on that.
Right. I agree.
Job, they had to fire the GM, whoever picked him. Because he's already fired.
Right, because he had the fake Twitter account.
Did you see how long we got here?
Less than a minute, 45 seconds.
Did you see the audio or hear the audio of your guy KD yelling at the fan?
Yes.
Saying,
awesome.
Shut up and watch the effing game.
And then the fans act all offended, like, hey, whoa!
2 things there. Number 1, screw the fans. Number 2, KD.
Yes, bad look for KD as well. But also those fans like, oh, whoa.
So
like,
offended.
dude, you were probably yelling all sorts of heinous stuff at him.
Our thanks to Sam Amick for joining us.
You can't talk back. You can't, as an athlete, you can't.
We're going to have fun tomorrow on our final show of the week. Eunice does a great job as always. Kyle's okay. And I'm the best. I mean, let's just be honest. Thank you for that. Jim Roma's next. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your broadcast day on Sports 1140 KHCK. Hey, bye now.